And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
Here we go. All right, everyone. Welcome into another edition of TigerBait Live. Mike Scarborough here of TigerBait.com. My sidekick, Baton Rouge sports talk legend, Buddy Songy. Big show tonight. Of course, it's SEC tournament week, and it is very odd with LSU not playing until late Friday. And this single elimination format, and of course, everybody gets in at the SEC tournament in Hoover. Team left today. They'll practice tomorrow at Hoover High School midday. And we got that to discuss. We can talk anything else you want to talk about LSU sports related. You guys drive the show as always. And please, if you're enjoying the show, hit that like button and share the feed out to your social media, your Facebook page, and text a link out to all your fellow LSU buddies. Much appreciated. We're going to go to right at 7 o'clock. Welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you. It looks like the Blues Brothers today. We don't coordinate what we're going to wear on these shows, but I had a little Southern Marsh working, and Mike with another good-looking blue shirt. Hope that we'll pass the snake GQ test. But I hope everybody doing well. Hard to believe, Mike. I don't have kids or grandkids, but, man, these kids graduating big, whether you're getting out of 8th grade, whether you're getting out of high school, going to college, whatever. A lot of graduation going on. Summer's here. Basically, LSU sports is basically done. Track and field, everybody talks about firing Beth Torina. Well, Dennis Shaver did a poor job again with track. When's he going to get the plug pulled? We know Beth Torina.
So you put him on the hot seat? I didn't even know we had a track hot seat list now.
Well, I'm just saying he hadn't done anything in a while. Not that it's that relevant to people, but wrapping up the spring sports and going into the summer. Already a lot of early football talk. BK was left off of the ESPN top 10 coaches list. We'll talk a little bit about that. And as Mike alluded to, we talked about that on the radio show today. Weird SEC baseball tournament. First of all, 16 teams, number 4. Second, single elimination. Just got off the phone with Giat and some LSU fans. They've been there since Tuesday. It's too slow for me. I can't go watch everybody else play and wait until 6:30 or thereabouts for LSU to play on Friday. And I could care less who it is, talking head, looking for clicks or whatever. LSU is going to be a national seed, regardless of what Yahoo you were listening to, who's trying to drive up interest. You'll have Kendall Rogers on your show with him tomorrow. But most people slotting them 5 or 6. You said 3 or 4. I said 4 or 5. And all of that comes out 11 o'clock.
Kendall's predictions, the one they put out a couple of days ago on the 18th, had LSU is behind Auburn. I don't know that I'm buying that.
Well, it'll all come out Monday, Memorial Day at 11 o'clock in the morning. So we'll find out. But I don't think LSU needs to do anything. I'm going to make a prediction right now. Texas A&M is going to beat Auburn tomorrow. And that will be an LSU A&M matchup on Friday night. That's just my prediction. Of course, they'll probably pitch Samuel Dutton, who's been very good. But A&M looked good. Shut out Mississippi State. Tennessee sent Alabama back home picking. And, of course, right now, Georgia and OU play in the third game of the day in Hoover, Alabama.
Brian Penton with a super chat right off the bat said, what year is Colton Nusmire, Garrett Nussmire's little brother, coming out? Is he on LSU's radar? He's absolutely on LSU's radar, and he has been since he was out of middle school. He's already taller than Garrett. Look, there's been a lot of scuttlebutt about, transferring to a Louisiana high school, reclassifying. Look, when there's not a whole lot denied on one end, and then it's quiet, I'm not going to say nothing's going to happen, but I'm not discounting it.
Well, look, I wanted to get to ask you this today on the radio show. Bo Bentley now down to LSU, Oklahoma. He changed the dates now. LSU's going to get him first. Oklahoma will get the last visit. Good news or bad news as far as that scenario for you? Usually you like to be last, especially with the money. But what do you think LSU's chances on Bo Bentley?
I like their chances. I'm not going to say they lead, but I think they've done a great job. Certainly, I guess I would say they were working from behind because they didn't think they would need to go for a very top flight class of 26 guy had Bryce Underwood stayed with LSU. So then I think they had to re-engage and go heavier for 26. They thought they could get a big timer in 25, skip 26 or get a lower ranked guy in 26, and then 27 go big again. I think you go big every year, and that's probably what they would say. But I think they've done a darn good job of getting back in on him.
But the reason I brought that up is that if they don't get him, then I do think, and we've talked about this on this show, I do think they're going to probably entice one of those highly touted 4 quarterbacks that they're in on for 27 to reclassify and come early in 26, and that's where Garrett Nusmire's brother could come into play.
Yep.
But Elijah Haven, you'll give me an update on that. 4 blockbuster QBs.
Peyton Houston, Evangel, he's very good.
You
got the Ziegler kid
up
at Benton that everybody in the country wants, but LSU hadn't offered yet.
Yeah. So interesting to see how it plays out. But Bo Bentley going to come to LSU first and then Oklahoma. Oklahoma people are saying that they're going to throw the kitchen sink with money, full of a bathtub full of money at him. And that is one of the things that people don't understand right now. You as a coach, as a team, Austin Thomas and all the NIL guys that are involved in that room, you've got to make a concerted effort to figure out, okay, do we spend this money on him now, or do you get somebody to come in here and classify up with the 26 class? So I don't know what the going rate for a quarterback is right now.
I kind of like the portal route.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Portal gives them experience, no doubt.
Yep.
So.
And especially if you go the portal route, it sets up well for your 27.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Brian, thank you so much for that super chat. Roger Ramsey, hey, Mike and Buddy, good to be with you. Always enjoy the show. Glad to have you, Roger, as always. Fire 3449, hit that like button. Absolutely. Yes, it was Fire. Mike, please tell me it was Glenn Gilbo that asked KeKe Anderson why he didn't travel with the team to Omaha last year. In his interview, KeKe was, it was Glenn. It might have been a little bit of a senior moment for Glenn.
Now, wait a minute. Listen, Glenn is going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's
later on,
seniors going to the Hall of Fame.
Later on this summer. But look, I kind of ripped up on KeKe early on in the season, talking about the inordinate amount of questions. But I got to say, and this is just my perception, I saw the video. I played it today on the show. I hate to say this. I think Jay Johnson really enjoyed that presser, not having KeKe asking 15 different questions in a 20-minute interview. Don't you?
Yeah, because Reed showed up and he said, I'm here in place of KeKe today. And we all had a little fun with that.
Yeah. But anyway.
And by the way, KeKe's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. And he's over in Hoover covering the team. And so you'll get a lot of Chess is going to have some reports starting tonight on VLA. So it should be a lot of fun. But Mike, I don't think we'll ever see this again. Tournament starts on Tuesday morning. Did have one washout yesterday, but Friday at 6:30, it just doesn't feel like LSU's even a part of it. By the time they play, I think there's going to be like 11 teams that were already been knocked out.
Well, and my question is going to be, what percentage of the total number of fans that watch an SEC tournament are LSU people? And if they're not playing until late on Friday, what has the attendance been for all these games leading up to it?
Every time I turn on, there's a lot of empties.
Yeah. So,
and of course, Alabama's already gone. Now, Auburn don't have a good crowd as they play.
I mean, do they care if there's a lot of empty seats?
I mean, single elimination makes it.
A lot of sports in college sports, it doesn't matter if you have empty seats. The TV pays everything.
Yeah.
That's in fact, let me expound on that. I always say, man, how can LSU women's basketball? All they got to do is charge more for tickets. They're not charging enough. They're putting over 10, 12, 11,000 in here every night for LSU women's basketball. Well, even if you did that, you still couldn't make up the money.
No, absolutely not.
Because the money is in the TV. I remember when they used to talk about all the new decks in Tiger Stadium. They'd be like, well, we don't need to sell those out. We should have built more suites and not went for the total number.
Yeah.
In order to have bragging rights, having one of the biggest stadiums in the country.
Well, they still do. They still do.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you have an actual or 105,000 there. Doesn't matter.
It just seemed to be a little bit different, though, with the single elimination. And what we're trying to get to, the point we're trying to make is that if your team is on the bubble and you want to go for 2 or 3 days and see at least 2 games, that used to be the deal. Now, you could be one and done. LSU could be going home by midnight on Friday, not 10 o'clock on Friday.
Tiger
fans are going to show up.
So the LSU baseball fan that typically goes and spends some vacation time there, what day in biggest number are they showing up?
Well,
probably tomorrow.
Yeah, and how many of them are going to go?
Right.
So we'll see. It's
and then you get down there. Let's say if they lose the first game, they're done.
Yeah, they're done.
You're going home.
That's right.
All right.
But I still do believe, regardless of the naysayers and negative Nellies and others, and of course, I think Mike is going to ask Kendall. This is the thing, and I know polls are different in baseball. There's always been different variations of different polls. It's not like the AP in football, the BCS, the CFP, all that. Those are pretty much standard and close. But how can you have LSU ranked number 1 2 weeks in a row, and yet you're going to see them 7, 8, or 9?
It's all about the RPI.
Now, I know RPI, they're 8.
But the Omahas of the world hurt LSU? The strength of schedule that off?
Well, that's what they all have to. They were also 19-11 in the conference. Auburn was 17-13. That's 2 conference games. LSU was 10-5 the first half, 9-6 the second half, won 7 weekends. Of course, they did obviously get swept by Auburn, which is in their favor. But my point is that, once again, there will be probably 5 of the 8 national
But they
seeds.
have Arkansas higher seeded than LSU.
Yeah, well, they've been better this year. Arkansas's got a better SEC record. They've been if LSU would have swept Arkansas, maybe not, but Texas and Arkansas have been 1-2. Yeah. I don't understand why Texas and Arkansas aren't 1-2 in the poll if you're going to see them 1-2 is my point.
Yeah. 53449 Mike. Also, LSU Shreveport is still undefeated. That is crazy. I asked Kendall about that. I don't know if you saw it.
What's the victory number at now?
I don't know.
It was 53 the last time so it's got to be
I don't know.
Crazy.
And their World Series starts Friday. I don't know if I'm going to interview their coach, but, I kind of mentioned it to Kendall and he started looking up and his eyes got big. And I think he said something like ULM ought to hire him. That's a crazy, crazy statistic. All right. I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael with Pride Roofing.
I'm little Alex.
Have you been affected by wind, hail, and tornadoes on the North Shore? Well, we're here to help.
Insurance claim, no problem.
We also have a new franchise location in New Orleans.
We don't build projects, we build memories.
Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer of TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Remember to call us at 855-PRIDE-16.
That's it. Give them a call at that number, 855-PRIDE-16. Say TigerBait when you call to get your free roof inspection. Whether it's your residence or your commercial building, and they're going to pay for it. You have TigerBait Premium free for a year. You cannot beat that deal. Of course, brand new office here in Baton Rouge, big corporate home office in Hammond, real big on the North Shore. So if you're in Mandeville, Madisonville, Covington, Slidell, they've got you covered in South Louisiana like a glove. New Orleans, Houma, Thibodaux as well, and offices in all those locations. And so give our friends over at Pride Roofing a chance to earn your business.
They check all the boxes, residential, commercial, obviously metal roofs. We talk about that. You talk about shingles. You talk about not having to wait. Look, they take your phone call. They always give you a free roofing inspection. They will help you with your adjuster. They will go through the ins and outs of what you need to do. And the roof over Your head is just as important as the roof over theirs. Once again, Mike Faraday works all of the Baton Rouge accounts primarily, and brag about Mike Scarborough and Buddy. They will. He will tell you that they're a big part of what we're doing here in South Louisiana. And Mike, not only will they be great people to work with, but they sharpen that pencil and make it competitive. Don't forget, Mike will tell you, if you've got a bona fide offer from somebody else, what is it, $150 he'll beat it by?
Yeah, $150 as long as you have it on their letterhead. So, yeah. Let me jump on this real quick. Chance Babin asked me about Desiree and Ellis. He's big time defensive back from Winsboro. And I'm hoping to talk to him here again soon from Franklin Parish High School. Big time kid.
Is that a 27 kid?
Yeah. He also plays quarterback for him.
Okay.
Let's see. No, he's 26.
Oh, he's 26?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but I need to get this real quick. Fire says, "Oh, and Mike, Buddy nailed the prediction. I asked for with 7 home runs against South Carolina. So you said 4. There you go."
Yeah. But look, I was sweating it because we thought they were going to hit a bunch, and then they finally, Jared Jones.
I think Kendall said what, 11?
He said 10.
10. Okay.
He said 10 or more. I said 7 or more. You said 4. But bottom line is, look, whether Jay wants to hear it or not, they live and die by the home run. And when they hit the home run, they play better. But interesting with the press conference yesterday, folks, this is incredible. Third baseman, Braswell, 3 errors all year. Milam, shortstop, 3 errors all year. Daniel Dickinson, second base, 3 errors all year. LSU fielding 981. That's pretty good for Jay Johnson.
If Milam was at the plate like he was as a freshman, I mean, where would he be on the All-SEC all list? Would he be first or second team if he was at the plate like he was last year?
Yeah. Well, he did.
I mean, it's fielding to have 3 errors.
Curiel probably should have got the freshman of the year. Had a little bit of a dip at the back end. They gave it to a Texas pitcher who has like 12 saves. And so, who cares about all the star rankings? Who cares about the honors? You want them spicy. You want them peaking at the right time. Good to see Curiel. Thought he hit the wall, Mike. Looked like he had gotten a little tired, started striking out. But Jared Jones is, to me, the key, because when he hits a long ball, you got to pitch around him. And obviously, we know that Jake Brown's been hitting the long balls. So let's see what happens. Of course, Auburn is probably going to throw Samuel Dutton once again as they play Texas A&M tomorrow at noon. And so we'll see what they have left.
Brad DeVee, good evening, Mike and Buddy. I'm glad LSU didn't buy out Beth's contract. There's no reason to spend that much on a sport that will never make money. Well, Brad, my whole issue is you wouldn't have had to make that decision had you not given her a 2-year extension last year. That made absolutely no sense. And like I said in my tweet Saturday night, it was asinine. Kudos to Southeast Louisiana. I equate it to Florida State complaining about not making the playoffs and then getting their ass kicked in the bowl game. That's what exactly happened to the Kirk Ferentz of softball coaches, Beth Torina. You didn't even get you stunk it up so bad you didn't even get to play Nebraska. But look, it's easy because she just has to bide her time because everybody's focus is going to be on baseball. All the attention is going to turn to football soon after that, and just pull the cap down real low when you go to the grocery store and don't make eye contact, and you'll get through it. You'll be just fine.
Well, this is the first time they've ever lost to Southeastern, and not only did they lose to them, but they lost to them twice. And I got to tell you, in both of those games,
Berzon gets in the portal. What else is coming?
But in both of those games against Southeastern, they wanted it more. They were better strategic.
They deserve to win.
Yeah, they deserve to win. Let's give them credit. Beth had a rough go of it in the Baton Rouge Regional. That being said, as you alluded to, Sydney Berzon gets in the portal. Now, Mike has said that he's verified that she's had some injuries to deal with, especially the back end of the season. You've got to retain Jaden Heavner. I don't care if you get a sugar daddy to give her $100,000, $200,000, whatever it is. She's got to stay. Tori Edwards has got to stay. And she's got a young class coming in with recruits. But she needs to go to work with the portal. That's what Brian Kelly's doing. That's what Matt McMahon's doing.
They're young.
And that's
she has a great recruiting class, and they're young.
But look, Jay Johnson, Brian Kelly, Matt McMahon, Kim Mulkey, what are they all doing? They're going heavy in the portal. Beth Torina needs to get off her butt and get some portal people in here. They don't have enough big, strong, physical.
No SEC titles, no SEC tournament titles, a 52% SEC winning percentage the last 4 years, no higher than a 5th place finish in the league. I said it last year. My prediction on that came right, just like my football prediction and my baseball prediction. I said they'd win 19 games. I said they'd be no higher than an 8 seed. They end up being a 10 seed.
Well, look, you're a little more passionate about her departure than I was. I told you they would not be able to afford $445 a year with the bonus staying there for another $50,000. So you're looking at $1.38 million or thereabouts. But my point is that I think it's crucial that there are 2 coaches next year that are put up or shut up. Not necessarily from a contract standpoint, but BK and Beth Torina. The fans, it's going to be put up or shut up. And once the fans fire you, it makes it a little bit more problematic for the AD.
I agree with what Josh Pate, the national guy, said on a show that I glanced at earlier this week. Not that he's going to get fired, because it's that buyout is crazy. But if LSU does not make the playoffs in football, he will absolutely be the #1 coach on everybody's hot list going into the 26th season.
And the difference with BK is that he brings so much spicy talk because of he's alienated people throughout the country that it won't just be locally.
And by the way,
it'll be national.
I know you disagree with that top 10 coaches list.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, I mean, what argument do you have to put him in the top 10? Just total wins?
I just disagreed with who he had in front of him. James Franklin,
because a lot of that
James
list,
Franklin from Penn State, Utah coach, and then Iowa State coach.
But a lot of that list though is a factor of who's trending, who's trending up and who's trending down.
Marcus Freeman is 4, and I don't think he's done enough to deserve that. Obviously, Kirby and Ryan Day and Dabo 1, 2, 3. It's one of those polls. You'll see another 10. Before the kickoff of the season, but I think I would take Brian Kelly over James Franklin in a big game.
Oh,
once
absolutely.
again, this is the year that BK has got to prove. I'm not going to hit the thing like he did.
Is there anybody in that top 10 you would take over BK in an opener?
Man, yeah,
all of them.
I don't know. I know one thing. Great opportunity for him to shut people up.
Who's number 2 on that list?
Ryan Day.
No, who's number 3?
Dabo.
All right. That's who you facing the opener.
Yeah. And by the way, Clemson is
the #1 quarterback in the country.
Yeah. Clemson's building up steam. There's going to be a lot of pressure on them. Everybody's already got them into the playoffs. Of course, they did make it last year. Didn't do much. But by the time we get into August, this opening game is going to be without a doubt, the biggest game on the night of August 30th. So happy ABC is going to have that game at 6:30.
Big Stack Kelly, what's up, Mike and Buddy and fellow TigerBait BFFs? How are we feeling about what the Tigers will do in the SEC tournament? I think they're going to make it to the finals. I don't know if I'm ready to pick them to win it, but I'm picking them to play in the finals.
I'm going to go 1 game, win it, and then they shut it down. Not shut it down, but I mean, look, I just think it's irrelevant at this point, especially Friday night at 6:30. You're only going to play 3 games. Everybody knows the regional sites, the 16 sites come out Sunday. The brackets come out Monday. It just doesn't feel right for an SEC tournament with the crazy schedule. So I think Jay wants to throw KeKe Anderson Friday night, right? He didn't name him, but it sounded like he wants to win that game. After that, I don't want to get too deep into the pitching staff. So if they win the first one and lose on Saturday, I'd be happy with that.
Bart Smokey says, yeah, there's a lot of empties, but a lot of purple and gold. Nurse Court in the house says, hey guys. Chew in the house says, Do y'all know if LSU women's basketball is looking for one more post play recruit, or is it finalized? I'm pretty much think it's done.
Shout out to Nurse Court. Rumors that she has been traveling all around the country, taking care of people, but also spreading the purple and gold love. Nurse Court, don't forget, I got a T-shirt for you before the season. You, Danny Girl, and some other friends of yours. And we'll talk about that when we get into the summer and we start talking more football. But
Kenny says, who's going to fund the softball Porter gets? Kenny, how about Miss Brenda? Who's going to fund it?
You got to have at least. Well, see, that's the real problem. Kenny just hit on the real problem.
I ask you, if you have a small group of guys, I don't know how many season ticket holders are not furious right now. And do you think though you can get those furious people who have some wealth to donate money for her to possibly? I mean, they're done. I think most of those people are done. They're ready for a change.
I would not be asking them for money for the portal anytime soon after the performance they had playing and coaching. I got to say this too. You watch a lot of these softball teams, Mike. 7 of the top 8 were national seeds from the SEC. Beth's got to recruit some size. She got to recruit more power. Remember when Maneri used to recruit the 670-pound shortstop or second baseman? She's got to get some Tori Edwards in there where you got more than one that can drive the ball out the park. And so it's not like the old days of Yvette Girard where the home run was not a big deal. You've got to get, I think, and I don't know what she's got in. I know they're highly touted, but I don't know the size and the potential she's got coming in here. But you got to agree, man. You got to have more power in that lineup. And, of course, you need another pitcher.
All right, let's talk about Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs may be, Dykes is wired for success. If you need a brand new 10-story office building, they can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse you need built, they can wire that. Expanding your existing commercial building, they can wire that. Changing out a breaker, whole electrical panel, upgrading the old lighting, or just a receptacle in either your home or office, they can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. Make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. Huge LSU fans over at Dykes Electrical, a great Louisiana company based right here in Baton Rouge. And again, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com, really fair prices, and they do wonderful work, licensed, contract, bonded, the whole works, and fantastic people over at Dykes Electric.
By the way, in case you missed it, Wes Johnson, who was the pitching coach at LSU when they won the Natty last time, of course, went over and took the head coaching job at Georgia. A lot of conjecture. He had been at Mississippi State before. A lot of conjecture he was going to go over there. He re-ups with Georgia. They gave him a raise and a bonus and some more years. So Wes Johnson going to stay at Georgia. Done a pretty good job. Always known for a pitching coach.
That's been a hell of a turnaround.
Yeah, great turnaround.
Man, what do they have at D1? Have them with a 4 seed?
Georgia's going to be in the top 8.
It was Auburn ahead of LSU, and Georgia was 1 ahead of them.
Yeah. So look, you're going to see Texas, Arkansas, LSU, Georgia, Auburn, and Vandy. Those 6.
Call your shot. How many SEC teams in Omaha?
I was going to say 5 in the top 8. I thought that's where you're going, but I'll just say 4. 4 will make it to Omaha.
That's probably right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Yeah, Kenny Haynes says our money went to Jay Johnson to support Mike Scarborough. That's right. Kenny Haynes sponsors our Batter Up show and our postgame show. If you need any legal work in North Louisiana, he's your man.
And he always goes on the bulletin board and gets everybody straight. Now, we got to get him and Snake.
He's our most prolific poster.
Yeah, we got to get him and Snake breaking a little bread, and we'll get them together over at Struby's later on before football season. But he always clears up any kind of legal questions we have. I appreciate it for him.
Yeah, he's all over the NCAA stuff. Got to throw it over there now.
No score, top third, Georgia and OU. Of course, LSU swept OU, didn't play Georgia this year.
Yep. So, how many days are we out now what are we, about 120 something days till football season?
Usually, you know, when it starts getting close, everybody's got the.
I was
the
telling
clock,
Buddy, this
but,
is if you're of a certain age, this is the time of year where you were running the K&B to get your Athlons and your Lindy's in May. And you'd read those cover to cover about 8 times, pre-internet, pre-YouTube, pre-everything.
the good old days.
Yeah.
The city newsstand.
And so, yeah, it's
Eyeballing it just quickly in the head it's right around 100 days. I'm not sure exactly when, but August 30th, backtrack to July 30th, June 30th, May 30th, that's 90 or whatever, plus 9 more, right around 100.
Yep.
So not far away, folks.
Brad DeVee with a super chat. Thank you for that. Mike, what do you and Buddy think of Ryan Clark on ESPN? I respect all he does for LSU, but I can't stand when people bring politics into sports. I agree with most people where I think he really crossed the line with that reference to RG3's wife.
Yeah.
And I think his cohorts at ESPN are saying the same thing, right? From what I've seen. Now I don't know what that means for him, and I don't see them making a move on him. But who was it? Roger Clemens that they got rid of pretty quickly. Who was it?
A bunch of them. RC and I never really got along.
There's a double standard at ESPN. I'll leave it.
Well, we never really got along when he was a player because I would always tease him and I'd say, man, when are you going to come back and start the season and be 200 pounds? He was about 190 pounds, 195 pounds. Very smart player, heady guy, played in the league for a long time. Obviously, his son went to AZ State.
Nick Saban said he was the smartest player ever coached at one time, right?
Yeah. He's giving him props for that. But I had no idea his son was going to be good enough to go to Notre Dame. Played with Notre Dame last year. But I think sometimes he crosses the line. He's not my cup of tea. Some people like him. But, Brad, I think that when you have almost every discussion contingent upon race and gender and all the other things that are thrown into the mix, I have a problem with it. But I think he knows football, but I think he's got a lot of baggage that he brings to the table because of his personality.
Carl the Cat brings up, don't forget K&B's ice cream. I will never forget K&B's ice cream. My stepdad would go over there, and I don't know what the specials were back in the day, but whenever they had those specials, he would fill the whole freezer up with all their flavors. It was always great ice cream. I don't know who mixed it for him, but it was really good ice cream.
You guys get nostalgic with K&B.
Yeah.
I laughed when you mentioned K&B today on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to call – yeah, that's right. It's Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling. Who got rid of him.
He was he went off, and of course many of them on ESPN are going left, and Kurt Schilling went right, and no right turns with ESPN.
Yeah, no place for a guy like Kurt Schilling at ESPN.
Well, look.
Let's see what else I got. I think we'll see today. Michaela Williams is added to that 3-ball team.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's that time of year, buddy, where you're like, it's all baseball. Got a little spicy there about softball, but football camps coming and recruiting. I think there's going to be probably a wave of commitments that are going to be coming, particularly in June. Friday Night Lights at the end of that month. I was looking at the LSU youth camp schedule the other day. There's really only 3 days of camp in the entire month of June. Man, it used to be where you would have 3 or 4 camps, and they'd all be three days long minimum. And now they're half days, 1 day only. The days of multi-day camps and guys are in offers. A lot of guys just come, they work out for an hour, then they walk around. A lot of guys are taking their official visits during the camp. Maybe they'll get tested while they're there, but the camps aren't what they used to be.
Yeah.
But the Friday Night Lights is one that they did add 2 years ago, which I think has really done big for them.
Real quick, kind of a general question. 26 class, early impressions of you projecting top 5, top 10. I mean, last year, what'd they end up?
I think it's top 5.
When they end up last year, 7 or 8 across the board.
I think one of them barely had them out of top 10.
Yeah, so about 7 or 8 last year across the board.
Right.
So you think this one's going to be better?
Yes, I think it is.
Okay.
This is a good one. Barry Barbier. It's obvious Woodward doesn't really care about women's softball, or he would have fired Beth, even though the buyout is that big. I can tell you the way they look at it. I can play devil's advocate. They say, well, what are you talking about? We've got a program that's consistently ranked in the top 10 or ranked in the top 12, 15, whatever. The SEC is the most competitive league. Who you going to, if you fire, who you going to hire? Because they're going to be like, well, who are you going to get that's a better coach that's a known entity? If you start talking about going to get some coach from Murray State or somewhere in softball, that doesn't win the argument. But you're not going to go get a Gasso to come here. So I think that's their argument. But when you did your digging around, not only did she get a 2-year extension, she's got a $50,000 longevity bonus. How about
correct.
that?
That's correct. Yeah, I did an extensive research on the contract. Look, I don't want this to come off wrong, but let's be honest, Mike. Softball is relevant for about a month the whole year. Okay.
Yeah, this will be the last time we talk about it.
Well,
unless a couple more girls get in the portal.
And so with revenue sharing, which we will find out what's going to happen there, but about 21 million, 14 million is going to go to football. The other 7 is to the other sports. And so, Barry, the numbers are this with revenue sharing coming in here. If you fire her, not only do you have to pay her off and her staff, you can lose some of the recruits that are coming in. But as you alluded to, Mike, you got to bring in a new coach. And so it's not just paying her off. It's now a lot of times on these payoffs, whether it's Coach O or Maneri or whoever, they do it on a monthly basis and don't do a lump sum payoff. Okay. But my point of it is that from a loss leader product, I just don't think it was economically feasible. Now, if they do lay an egg again next year and get beat and don't get out of the Baton Rouge Regional, I think there'll be certainly more discussion about that. But I never thought that was going to approach the subject. Fans get mad. We talked about it. Softball fans are mad. They did not play well. They were not prepared. They gave up 4 freaking runs without a hit in 1 inning. That is not prepared. That is not well coached. And so we'll see what they do. But they better have a come to Jesus talk and find out who's staying and who's
I think they've
going.
had multiple of those over the last few years. That didn't do any good.
What's that?
Come to Jesus talks.
Well, no, I'm just saying, though, I was talking about with the players. You better go in and find out right now. Jaden Heavney, are you coming back? Tori Edwards, are you coming back? All the people, you got to find out. And that's why I said go to the portal, because they need more players.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of softball for a couple of days. LSU does not have the talent to go to Oklahoma City. And this dumbass right here predicted them when they were doing so well to get to OKC this year because they had 2 good pitchers. Sidney Berzon was not the same Sidney Berzon that we saw at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I was getting reports she was walking around with a sling on.
Yeah.
And it was longer than 3 weeks.
And yet Beth kept coming back to her. Beth made a lot of decisions that were questionable, especially pitching related, and that's got to be her forte. Yep. So, but I didn't think she'd get fired. Next year could be a different story, but they've got to upgrade the talent on that team.
All right, let's talk about Struby's. You got to get over to that fantastic restaurant at 107 3rd Street, downtown Baton Rouge. And, of course, Struby sponsors all of our live shows. They pride themselves on providing a 5-star dining experience at a reasonable price and locally owned, all fresh ingredients, USDA prime black Angus steaks, 100% certified Wagyu New York strip. Yeah, outside of red meat, you got the dry-aged pork chop, and you got the black truffle lobster pasta, redfish, duck Louisiana, steak Diane. And so go to Strubys.com, book your reservation online. Make sure to let them know TigerBait sent you in. And like I always tell you, they have a great dessert menu. The crawfish mac and cheese is out of this world. And get the lamb lollipops for an appetizer. And just absolutely great people over at Struby's. And Genesis of Lafayette. Look at those rates, 2.99% APR for 60 months right now till the end of the month on the GV70. That's a 2025 model. That interest right there is crazy. 3.99 for 72 months. Both those rates are outstanding. So you got to get over to Genesis of Lafayette, the premier luxury dealership. They offer the finest cars and SUVs in the region, coupled with the best service anywhere. Genesis of Lafayette has a huge inventory of new and certified pre-owned Genesis vehicles. So for a truly first-class automotive experience, it's Genesis of Lafayette, 6600 Johnson Street. Huge LSU baseball fans, those guys, Jaron Guidry, Blake Mesh, and everybody over there. Give them a call, 877-856-2961, and tell them TigerBait sent you in. And I know that there's been a lot of LSU fans that tune in this show from various areas of the state who have shopped Genesis of Lafayette, have bought cars, and very much appreciate you guys. I'm telling you, you're not going to beat them on price. They're going to go 6-7 states over to get the one you want. And if you're real picky about a particular color, they're going to go the extra mile. Having dealt with several Genesis dealers when the missus was looking for her vehicle, they didn't want to lift a finger here locally. They only wanted to sell you the matte colors that she didn't want. So Genesis of Lafayette, the best.
No doubt about it. Tiger Woods still propping him up. Of course, that saved his life when that car crashed. Back to Struby's real quick. I've been there a couple, 3 times. Love the pork chop. I'm a simple kind of guy. When I find something, I like it. It's consistent. I get it every time. I got the pork chop all 3 times. You're a steak guy. Hopefully, we'll get together with the guys before the season, and we'll have the pork chop team,
Cowboy Ribeye,
and the Cowboy Ribeye team, and we're going to all have a contest on picking LSU's score and how many will raise their hand when we ask that proverbial question after cocktails and steaks and pork chops. Do you see LSU going 10-2 and making it to the playoffs? Because that is going to be the proverbial question all season long. Oh, by the way, Clemson is getting so much positive.
Buddy, they beat Clemson. I will totally alter my prediction.
But I'm saying Clemson's getting a lot more positive feedback. They're going
and that's good for LSU.
Yes, it's good. LSU needs to embrace the underdog role and play with a chip on the shoulder. But look, I'm convinced Clemson's going to be right around 4 or 5. LSU's going to be 7 or 8. That's going to be a top 10 matchup.
Yep.
Clemson may even be 2 or 3.
Let's see. Brad David says, do you think it's good that Tate is leaving? I'm glad because he pushed out Will Wade. I don't know that was totally on Tate. I think that was a joint effort. Look, he was very pro-athletic. It's going to be very interesting to see how that – look, it was just a matter of time. I think he's been looking for a while. As soon as Governor Landry was sworn in, I think he knew once Board of Supervisors and all that, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, how many seats came open. He knew his days were probably numbered. Now, the interesting thing going forward beyond that is what's Woodward's situation long term.
And who will be the new president?
Yeah, because if
Jeff Landry wants to put his guy in there.
Somebody, and I think a lot of that obese Tiger stuff that happened last football season, I think that was some jabs at Woodward from Landry. It's just kind of a play at him as well. Both on different sides of the aisle politically. Yeah, be interesting.
Well, I don't get into the politics and sports because politics and sports make strange bedfellows, but I just hope that Governor Landry does not try that silly-ass Omar the Tiger in Tiger Stadium again. That ought to be one and done. That was a big-time failure.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Big Stack Kelly says the revenue sharing will kill off a lot of non-profit sports.
Yeah.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Thank you, Dane. He says, good evening, Mike and Buddy. It's been a tough week for LSU. Softball exiting the tournament, LSU president leaving, and worst of all, T-Bob leaving for Chicago. Yeah, congrats to T-Bob on that. I couldn't believe it took Barstool this long to come down here and get him.
Well, look, Snake said it 2 or 3 times. He would go and smoke the cigars with him and T-Bob and Scone and get totally shafosed, after the game. And look, T-Bob certainly had a niche here in town. I think he's going to be a fit in Chicago. I think everybody feels like he'll be a great fit at Barstool. But look, Dane, easy come, easy go.
When you do Barstool, you're free to drop F-bombs.
Oh, well, he was doing that on Saturday night anyway.
But that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you're not dealing with it. There's strictly YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He can do it on every show.
Yeah.
It's definitely rated R. So, and his sense of humor and the things he liked to do, I think, was tailor-made for Barstool. Again, I'm shocked it took him that long. Hey, Dane, thank you for that.
Thank you, Snake.
Donald Wright, I definitely don't think the Tiger fan base can take another opening day loss in football. Should BK embrace the pressure and talk about it? Look, he's never going to do that.
Well, it's funny that he mentioned that because, at some point, somebody in the media is going to have the testicles to ask the question, do you realize how much pressure is on you in this first game? And coaches have always said, you put more pressure inward than anybody on the outside puts on you. But he's got to know, Mike, with the addition of 18, he could talk about this, he could talk about this, but now with 18 transfer portal players that can play.
When you're making $30,000 a day, I don't know, there's no pressure. I wouldn't feel any pressure. I'd be like,
I disagree. Are you kidding? How would you like to walk around and know everybody is going to be calling you names?
I mean, when he's on the golf course, is someone hitting balls at him? I mean, what are we talking about here? Where's he getting pressure from?
Coaches put an inordinate amount of pressure on themselves to win. And I will just say this. He's got to know, and I've said it already, this is the biggest game in Brian Kelly's career at LSU. Now, he played for Natty and got clobbered.
Look, look, he obviously does want to succeed. He does want to. But my point is, it's not like a guy with a regular job and,
I understand that.
And a family with two kids, and he's mortgaged to the hilt, and he can't sleep at night because he's got so much anxiety because he can't pay the bills.
I understand that logic, but I'm just saying.
Because it really boils down to, hey, you coon asses, you don't want me out of here? Cut me a check.
Yeah, but he understands the magnitude.
Remember the last coach that used the word coon asses, right?
Now, here's the question that I was just thinking about today on the way over here. In light of LSU, in this downturn with opening games and losing 5, why didn't Verge and him get together and get a one of these Southeastern, Grambling, whatever teams to say, let's go week 0, so you get the kinks out. You always heard this adage, you improve more from your first game to your second game. Most teams do that. But why didn't they, if they were so worried about getting off the snide? I personally liked the big game against Clemson. Everybody will be watching on the night of August 30th. But why didn't they think about putting in a week 0 game, A, to get off the snide, and B, to have a team more prepared? Because let me tell you what, you talk about screaming red ass. If they lose to Clemson, get a punt blocked, and don't have their special teams act together, and then don't protect Nuss, and you got 3 INTs and you get beat 37-20, this place is going to go bananas.
Whoo.
It's true.
Yep. Carl the Cat says LSU is winning the opener. Write it down.
Here we go, Carl. Lock of the week. Book it.
Yeah. Jawani Watkins ran a 10.03 in the 100-meter. Yeah, I retweeted that out, placing 3rd in the SEC championships. Trenton Holiday ran a 10.00 at the Olympic trials.
I'm glad we brought up Watkins. Somebody asked us last week about who was the fastest football player. We talked about Hilton, Berry, and Brown and all. I don't know if you remember that discussion, but they were talking about who's the fastest guy on the team. The problem when you list Jawani Watkins, obviously from a track speed, he's got that.
Who was the fastest ever? Would it be Xavier Carter? There was a LSU football player.
Man, I
Slip
mean,
Watkins.
there are Trenton Holiday, I think from the track is 10.00. That viewer is exactly right. But my point back to Watkins is that we don't know if he's going to play. He got hurt and didn't play last year, and he's doing great things on track.
When he runs in track, that's his goal. He needs to stick to track.
Well,
You know how much money track kids make in Japan?
Well, not only
and
that, though,
overseas?
but the wide receiver room is as deep as it's ever been. So
If I'm
when
him, I'll
you
focus
ask
on
us
track.
that question from a track speed, Watkins, but right now football speed and being playing this year, obviously Chris Hilton, Varian Brown, and others. But
Watkins is a track kid. I think he should focus on track.
yeah, we'll see.
Todd Davis, Jim Irsay just died with the Colts. So he was 65. He was older than that, wasn't he?
I don't know, but he had some habits that,
Yeah.
you know.
There you go.
Probably led to that. He lived life hard.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 65. Wow. Okay.
Also, Norm from Cheers passed away a couple days ago.
He was 65. He wasn't that old either.
Something like that, yeah.
Capital City Grill, everybody. Get over there. Another great restaurant and fantastic people located at 107 3rd Street. Fantastic lunch spot. One of the greatest brunch spots in the Baton Rouge area. Get over for the Sunday brunch from 11 to 2. You see the chicken and waffles right there on the screen, along with that insane cake, the dream cake that feeds 3 to 4 people for only $12. That's a great Sunday afternoon sugar spike. But get over there again, 100 Lafayette Street. Great sandwiches, burgers, seafood pasta, steaks. Almost everything's priced at $30 or below. And again, that Sunday brunch from 11 to 2. And great French dip, great burgers, just everything. Fantastic French fries. You name it, they've got a fantastic. Go look at their menu at capitalcitygrill.net, and just absolutely fantastic food. And I need to talk about Alumni Hall. Again, a great store in Perkins Row. They've got all your Nike gear, your Champion, your Johnny O, Alma Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and much more. And head over to Perkins Row, say TigerBait, all one word. That's for you, my friends. You can use that online or in person. Every time you go over there, you can get 10% off anything that you buy. And the best and largest selection of LSU Tiger gear, apparel, all the apparel for family, the great kids selection, all of it officially licensed. And you're going to get free shipping on everything over $99 at Alumni Hall. Again, the best place with a physical store that you can go and get all your LSU gear.
Hey, back to Capital City Grill. Great outdoor seating. Enjoyed that with the girlfriend and her daughter. Great bar, always consistent. And I know you talk chicken and waffles.
Really nice bar.
You talk about chicken and waffles, but you absolutely love that carrot cake.
Best carrot cake in Baton Rouge, bar none. I'm telling you. Get it to go. If you're full, get it to go. Trust me, you'll eat 2 or 3 days on it. Anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Just that I'm going to go ahead and predict LSU to win Friday night. Whether the A&M beats the opponent Auburn tomorrow, we'll see. But I like KeKe Anderson getting the ball. After that, to me, it's irrelevant. I do think LSU will come in on Monday I'm going to go ahead with number 5 as the national seed. Could be 4, 5, or 6, like you alluded to. And, of course, we'll be watching that very closely to see who is going to be coming to Baton Rouge. Super Regionals, if you are a 4 or 5, you're going to have somebody, if they take care of business, top 16 gets the host sites. That'll be announced on Monday, the brackets. But if you're a 4 or 5, Mike, you've got a 12 or a 13 coming in here if they win their regional. So LSU could be in a great spot. I do not think they will be outside the top 8, regardless of what happens in the one game they'll play Friday night. If they lose that, they'll come home. But 13 of the 16 SEC teams making it to the dance is what they were projecting. And, of course, similar numbers with the college basketball tournament this year. So SEC, 7 of the 8 in softball. And, oh, by the way, Nebraska, I feel like, would have taken LSU down this year had LSU beaten Southeastern. Nebraska has a young lady that is probably one of the better players in the country. Not only is she a great pitcher, she was 5 for 5, hit 4 home runs, and had 7 walks. Fantastic. And she, of course, was at Oklahoma, went back to play with Nebraska, got a little NIL money. So watching Nebraska, they travel to Tennessee, and, of course, softball will start to get serious here. But once again, SEC, that's the problem with Beth Torina. She is in a league that is just 1 through 10 loaded.
All right, let's hear from our friends at Manda, and then we'll come back and wrap up.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
There you go, buddy. Got some spicy. Manda says it all.
Yeah, spicy stuff. If LSU's not a top 8, I will be spicy as well. I'll just say AF if you know what that means. But don't forget the official smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. Always can get them at Tiger Park. Always can get them at the box. And we will see many of you out at the box. It's hard to believe that once LSU, let's answer the question now here. Look, by the way, congratulations, 19-11. You didn't want to take credit, but you hit it on the nose. I was 20-10. We had Ron Higgins, Zach Nagy, myself at 20-10. Ben went 18-12. Others went 17-13. Todd Walker did not want to give me a prediction on LSU, but you hit it 19-11. I'll ask you, what's your final prediction on the seed, the number of the seed, the national seed on Monday, and do they make it to Omaha?
I'm going to give them a 5.
That's what I'm picking, 5, and they will make it to Omaha.
5, and I think they make it to the finals of the SEC tournament.
And don't forget Curl the Cat. When he goes to Omaha, they do not let him put ketchup on his steak.
Does he do that?
I told him I'd buy him a steak in Omaha. No ketchup. They put bourbon on the steak in Omaha.
There you go.
So, hey, have a great weekend, everybody. A lot of baseball to watch. We'll talk some football. Once again, be happy that you are a Tiger fan. Missouri hadn't sniffed the championship. A&M, once again, not sniffing the championship. It's good to be a Tiger fan. And, of course, a little rocky, like Snake said, kind of a tough week. But hang in there. We'll be back next Wednesday.
All right, good night, everybody. Hit that like button on the way out and that subscribe button, that notification bell. We're about to hit 37,000 subscribers. Hold on. Let me see if we've hit it yet. If we haven't, there's probably some of y'all in the show right now that can get us over the hump. 36,992. I need 8 more to get to 37,000. If there's 8 of you out there, please hit that subscribe button, notification bell. I bet you we can get there before midnight.
Manda update 1-1, Georgia and OU. Once again, Georgia is already there. I wouldn't mind it if Georgia got beat and Auburn got beat. That makes those teams, once again, I'm not buying. You'll talk to Kendall about it tomorrow. What time are you taping that?
We usually do 1:30, 2 o'clock or so. So we'll have it up no later than 2:30, 3
Just
o'clock.
ask him the question that everybody's been asking me. If they're number 1 in the polls, why do you have them slotted as a number 7?
By the way, you know,
national seed?
D1 is D1 softball now, too.
Yeah.
It was their guy that broke the news about Berzon getting in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but ask Kendall tomorrow, why do you still have them in number 1 in the polls the last 2 weeks? Baseball America and other Baseball America did come out with their potential top 8, and they had LSU at 6. But ask Kendall, why are they number 1 in the polls if he feels like they're going to be 6 or 7 when the national seeds come out Monday?
All right, everybody. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button and subscribe, notification bell. You know the drill, and we'll be back here next week. Good night.